one station making history every day.
Chicago, Chicago.
Now, Rowe and Roper.
89 WLS.
In the studio today.
Yes, sir.
As he is every afternoon.
Yeah, what a happy day.
At 3 o'clock. By the way, Tom Greason tickets to give away a little bit later on.
Really?
It's going to be at CD and Me on Sunday.
Really?
For the Laughter and Stories with Sinatra. Visit cdandme.com for all information.
I
We're
like
going to
that
give some
place.
tickets away.
It's a lot of fun.
Beautiful place.
Yeah, it is.
In Frankfurt. All right. What do you got here, Ron?
We've got a bunch of stuff coming up at 5 o'clock. But I'm a little concerned. I'm a little concerned that Chicago is losing its reputation. It bothers me. It bothers me when other elected bodies, like say a city council, step forward to think for a moment they can be more corrupt than our own has been over the last 3 or 4 decades. You know, we've averaged over the last 30 years, we're close to an alderman a year.
Right.
We're halfway there. I think
One
we're
every
at
18 months, something
26.
like that. 26?
I want to live long enough that all 50 aldermen of the city council, every ward, has sent a guy to prison.
Yeah.
And I think I can make it. I think I can make it.
I think you got a real shot because often what's wonderful is we've had cases of we really have had cases of an alderman going down for essentially the same thing his father went down for.
Yes,
we've
had that.
Yeah,
We've had exactly that.
We have had that. We have had. There's a great tradition here that should not be ignored. Now you've got these Johnny-come-latelys in the District of Columbia. The District of Columbia's got a council, and the District of Columbia is not a state, not a city.
And the council are federal employees, which is really weird.
And it's very weird. Yeah. But the District of Columbia Council is like the legislature in the District of Columbia. Yeah. And now you got the chairman being charged Wednesday with lying about his income on loan applications. What's that? I mean, lying about your income on so he fudged it
short
a little
pants.
bit.
That's a kindergarten kind of thing.
Ron, I have to say though, I know you're just patting them on the head and saying, "Aren't you guys cute?" But they got Marion Barry over there. They got the crack smoking.
Yeah.
He won't go away guy of all time.
The bee made me do it.
Yeah.
So that Marion Barry was pretty good, but
he's on the council now in D.C. Yeah. I mean, he's not gone away yet.
Oh no,
he keeps
back.
coming back. Yeah.
And this is the second D.C. council member since January to be criminally charged, and they're also still investigating the 2010 campaign of the mayor of the District of Columbia, who preceded the guy who just got charged. They're trying to develop their own little thing, and it's nice, but it doesn't measure up.
They're getting there.
It doesn't measure up. It's not like
they're getting there.
It's not like Chicago when many years ago in the 80s when there was a big investigation, and remember when they actually the feds ran some wires for a while, and there actually
Counselors Row restaurant.
There actually was an alderman. For those of you who don't remember this, it's a story worth hearing. There was an alderman in Chicago who stood right up, looked in the cameras of the press, and said, "What are the feds doing with these wires? This is not Washington, D.C., where they had that ab scam. This is Chicago. We've been doing this since before the Great Fire." An alderman stood up and said that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but here's the thing. It is such an endemic culture. We are put in mind,
sweet.
I think if you want to put this in the perspective of what happened last night in Wisconsin, there is a moment at which the public starts to mistrust the largesse of the government. How the government tends to take care of itself and take care of public service sector employees, even in a moment when the rest of the world starts to suffer. And that's the whole reason that this thing happened. If there weren't massive layoffs and cutbacks and benefits of people in the private sector, this would just be going on, and tax returns were coming in. This would just be going on and on and on. But when all of a sudden things got rough and tight in the private sector, and the public sector was, hey, we're still having a party, right? including guys who were supposed to be in Washington, supposed to be watching this sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
When you have the people charged with making sure that the party doesn't continue throwing a party for themselves.
The General Accounting Office?
Then all of a sudden, you do. There's, people have that moment, and in Chicago, we have yet to have fully had that moment. Now, I will say this. I mean, say what you will about Rahm Emanuel. Well, what Rahm Emanuel is, for sure, is one tough-ass customer. And I don't see him as a guy as venally on the take as a lot of the people who came up in this town.
Here's the difference. Here's what I think will be the difference. And I'm waiting for this to happen, because we know it'll happen. There have been indictments of underlings, sometimes department heads, sometimes assistant department heads, sometimes people you never heard of who it turned out were low-level people but were able to run a big scam that somebody had to know something about, as in hired truck. Those kind of things happen, in Chicago. And typically in Chicago, during the Daley years, for whatever you think about Mayor Daley, good or bad, I think one of the knocks on him was he tended to either try to ignore or discount those things when they happen. Mm-hmm. I mean, he would make some speech about, we can't stand corruption in government and all that, but he didn't step up and whack people or scream about it or, take the serious action that many would have hoped he would have.
He did what his dad did. Don't get caught.
Yeah.
It was, I don't want to know. I don't want anything to do with it. Just don't get caught. Yeah. But some of this stuff's gotten pretty close to home for
and it did. It did get close
Daley.
to home. And I can't wait to see when we get the first significant indictment of somebody in city government under Rahm Emanuel. I can't wait to see what his reaction is and what he does or tries to do. Now, sometimes, because these agencies and systems have been built up over the years, sometimes you can't do something. I mean, you look at the case in the fire department where they just had a case where people were padding expense accounts, and a ruling came down. The city inspector general wanted to fire all these people, and then a ruling came down from another agency that, everybody has done it for so long that it is accepted practice and you can't fire them. It was the way they thought they were supposed to do business. That's actually a ruling that just came down.
I'll tell you, here's what to watch for in the next couple of years here. Aldermen, the one thing about aldermen in this city, aldermen have a lot of power. A lot of power. It's not just legislative. The wards basically are run, and everything that happens within the ward itself goes through the alderman's office. All the city services go through the alderman's office, and the first thing that Rahm Emanuel took away from them was garbage pickup, because there were aldermen in this town that were using garbage pickup as a punitive measure, and also to exert control and perhaps loosen the purse strings of potential donors, of business people in their wards, by changing how the residential garbage pickup would occur. And this was, and other kinds of services. If you want, you want a curb, you want whatever, Chicago Department of Transportation, lights, stop, whatever it happened to be, zoning, all that went through the alderman's office. And now Rahm Emanuel took away the garbage. He was trying to take away the garbage collection. Also, police commanders, have to deal with the aldermen in terms of coverage in those areas. And Rahm Emanuel's going to start running guys against these entrenched aldermen that he doesn't like. And he's running, interestingly enough, business guys. He's taking local business people and trying to get them out. All right, wait, quickly. Christina's got the 45 seconds in heaven.
89 WLS. Traffic and weather first on the fives.
At 3:15, I'm Christina Filiaggi. Traffic on the inbound Eden's running at 26 minutes. Lake Cook to the Junction, outbound 19 minutes. Downtown out to O'Hare on the Kennedy, 32 minutes. Back in 40, Eisenhower 35 either way between Thorndale and downtown, 44 on the Stevenson to 355 and the Ryan 20 out to 95th in the Circle Interchange, 35 coming back in. Lakeshore Drive still heavy in both directions around Wacker because of an earlier bridge lift. Northbound Tri-State Building between ID8 and 290. The 89 WLS Weather Channel forecast. Rest of today, sunny, high 76. Tonight, clear, low 54. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 79. Right now, 75 at O'Hare, 69 for Lakefront. Next report at 3:25 and 89 WLS.
All right. Thank you, Christina. I thought that was excellent.
Aw,
It was.
thank
It was
you.
a very good job
Thanks,
again
Ron.
today, Christina.
Thanks.
I think she does her best work when I'm up here, frankly. I really do.
I try to show off a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's going on. All right, what do you got on your ABC 7 News at 5, 8, or 10?
We got a whole bunch of stuff. Leah Hope's doing the story of the Illinois House, at least a House panel, a committee, saying that Representative Derek Smith should be punished, and they want to take that up in the House. He's accused of accepting a bribe for backing a state grant application for a daycare center. Turned out to have been an FBI sting. And what the House does, what this committee says the House should go ahead and do, is they set up a separate panel. I think it's 12 members of the House, and they appoint they get a prosecutor and a defender, in effect, and they look at the evidence against Mr. Smith to see if he has misrepresented himself or violated House rules. It'll be interesting to see. It's like a little mini
and they can do
trial
that before the actual trial.
Yeah, and they can do it before the actual trial, which
is what they do with Blagojevich, as you recall.
Right. Interestingly, puts the defendant in a difficult position. Do they want to bring forward things that they may have to reveal at trial or not reveal? So it does put the defendant in a particular position. And your old friend Drew Peterson is back in court today. And Sarah Schulte's taking a look at that story. I don't know what has happened there. And your Chicago City Council.
They're going to want to talk to him about that Michael Sneed interview.
Yeah, I think
what the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah. and the Chicago City Council also.
Can I say something? Let me say something about that. We had Brodsky on yesterday as attorney.
Yeah.
For the first time in my life, and we've known Joel Brodsky now for a number of years, right? Because of got to know him actually pretty well over these years, and. Brodsky always seemed to be sort of in on the joke a little bit with Drew Peterson.
Yeah.
And now that we've gotten closer to the deal, closer to the actual having to do the trial, all of a sudden, for the first time yesterday, I got the sense like he's tired of this crap, and he wants his client to shut up and stop acting like that because he knows it's going to get him in a lot of he can't help himself.
The one thing you'd say Drew Peterson has in common with Rod Blagojevich is they greatly overestimate their own charm factor.
Yeah.
I think Joel's thinking, this guy, and I said this yesterday, Ron, to Roe, and to our fine listeners, I believe that at some point during that trial, there's going to be some sort of hijinks where Drew was going to wink at a juror, or he's going to try to high-five somebody, or he's going to crack a joke. He's going to do something.
Yeah.
That's going to just bring the proceedings to a screeching halt and not help him with the jury.
Yeah. I mean, it was fascinating that in his interview with Michael Sneed, imagine that you're talking about a movie that was made about his life, a movie in which he's alleged to be a killer,
right?
And
multiple killer.
His comment is he was upset that the actress who was playing one of his wives, he didn't get to see enough of her in a bikini.
Yeah, that she was not in a bikini, which was a real waste.
Yeah.
The actress playing his wife, who he maintains has disappeared on him, and others think was killed by him.
I thought that was the most bizarre moment.
And it just, and as always, blatant disregard for the feelings of her family.
Oh, terrible.
Well, he never acted right about this in any way, and this is really the problem: is that he has. I think they've got a fairly thin case in terms of murder of Kathleen Savio, but everybody wanted him behind bars because they figured it had something to do with the disappearance of Stacey Peterson. But they're not going to be able to prosecute him for that, and he's not on trial for that unless a body is recovered.
Yeah.
And I think there's a high likelihood he will walk.
I think so too.
As a result of this, and then we're going to be dealing with him out on the streets, marrying more and more people.
And he'll walk out, and the first thing he'll say is, "Ladies, I'm single."
Yeah, no question. All right, we'll find out what else. Ron has a final thought.
A plethora. A cornucopia.
Yes.
Right after this.
89 WLS. Excellence is a standard which transcends the test of time. For over a century, Red Wing purpose-built footwear has been at the spearhead of innovation in the standard of excellence for shoes and boots. Red Wing Shoes in Arlington Heights has been independently owned and operated for over 40 years, serving Chicagoland one satisfied customer at a time with personalized, friendly, and expert attention. Stop in for a reminder of what good old-fashioned American craftsmanship and service is all about. They can fit your feet and your wallet. Need a special special size that you can't find anywhere else? Red Wing Shoes in Arlington Heights stock sizes from 4A to quadruple E, so you can be sure you'll get the right footwear and the right fit every time. When you need tough, comfortable shoes, go to Red Wing Shoes at 1721 East Central Road in Arlington Heights. They're open 7 days a week. Red Wing Shoes, a standard of excellence like no other. And now, $30 off every Red Wing work boot. Arlington Heights location only, good through Father's Day. It's all quite innocent at first. A few shopping outings with friends. But soon you're on to yoga classes, book clubbing, and texting, on top of the house cleaning, laundry, and grocery shopping you do. Then it's official. You're a victim of busy adulthood. But you're not alone. Olivet Nazarene University has helped hundreds of busy adults fit education into their busy lives with flexible programs in business, education, or nursing. Visit graduate.olivet.edu. That's graduate.olivet.edu.
I'm just a kid, and I've got asthma. You know just how upset I can get when I have an asthma attack. But you can help me
to fight my asthma.
Put my teddy bear in the freezer to wipe out dust mites.
Dry off my rubber duckies and bath toys to get rid of mold.
Discover other simple ways to prevent an asthma attack. Call 1-866-NO-ATTACKS or visit noattacks.org. Brought to you by the U.S. EPA and the Ad Council.
Because I don't want to feel like a fish with no water.
We will not be an easy target. We will never roll over and let pain plan our day. We will protect our bodies and fight back by moving. We will do our morning laps, walk our dogs around the block, pass up the elevator, and proudly take the stairs. Because arthritis can't beat us if we beat it first. In the fight against arthritis, you need a weapon. What's yours? To learn more, visit us at fightarthritispain.org. This message brought to you by the Arthritis Foundation and the Ad Council.
This is a taste of WLS. Don Wade and Roma.
So about the downtown area and the thug mobs rampaging, we have had more attacks last night. People left bloody, teeth missing, wallets missing, iPads missing, phones missing, $350 cash missing.
There's one at Wabash and State, too. There's another one on the campuses at the buses.
So here's the thing that Brendan Riley's conversation with us just a couple of minutes ago. The alderman for the 42nd Ward, which is right downtown, where most of these attacks are taking place, at least the ones getting the attention. He talks about priorities, moving some of these police so that there's more police presence. And as he said, well, that means shifting them from other areas to downtown. And he says, you know, there's crime in other parts of the city that may be even actually worse.
It goes on all the time.
It's all over. So it's a question of priorities. We didn't have time to get to all the questions. And priorities are definitely the key, mainly for the mayor. We have to just make these decisions about priorities in times when everybody's tightening their belt, when there isn't enough money, when the city is broke. There is not the money. We're short a couple of thousand police officers. So you have to decide, is it more important, do we place a priority on hiring more cops, or do we place a priority on a beautification project so that we have flowers down the center of each boulevard? And I think that the mayor could have a come to Jesus moment and have a straight talk with the citizens of this city about, look, I'm going to make sure you're safe. And I think that people would buy that. And I think they'd respect him for it.
Don Wade and Roma. Mornings 5 till 9 on 890 AM WLS.
89 WLS. Traffic and weather first on the fives.
At 3:25, I'm Christina Filiaggi. Traffic pretty heavy on the inbound Rhine because of some debris in the roadway. It's heavy 95th to 75th, and then Marquette to 47th, 95th into the Circle, 35 minutes, 20 out to 95th. Inbound Edens 26, Lake Cook to the Junction, outbound's good. The Kennedy 35 out to O'Hare, 40 in. Eisenhower 35 to Thorndale, inbound time 41 minutes. And the Stevenson 40 minutes to get out to 355 from Lakeshore Drive, back in 38. Northbound Tri-State Building between I-88 and 290. Report of a crash on the inbound Ryan 2 or a stall right around 75th in the right lane. The 89 WS Weather Channel forecast sponsored in part by Basement Flood Protectors. The rest of the day, sunny 76. Clear tonight, low 54. Tomorrow, sunny, high 79. Right now, 75 at O'Hare, 69 at the Lakefront. Next report is at 3:35 at 89 WS.